Hi guys, welcome back. This is going to be a continuation from the last vlog. So we're going to continue with the same work for today, which is the extension from the fuse box to the front harness because it is being rerouted to the back. For those of you that are new to the channel, I am doing a, custom harness on my builds, but using the same parts that my Supra already came with. It came with the body harness. It was once extended. It was just done very terribly, and you know, if I would have just like left it like that or probably just fixed it up just slightly, it would have definitely caused the fire. So you know, I have stripped it down and I have went over everything. I've took a bunch of things out that I'm not going to be using in my body, in the body of the Supra. So yeah, I'll go a little bit more over that, but I have it out, and the main focus for today is going to be this part here, which this is where the extended wires from the fuse box are going to hook up to, and that's how it's going to pretty much power up all of the rest of the front harness. So for today, I am actually going to finish labeling these wires just to make sure that they do align with the wires that are on the fuse box. And I already made little notes here and there for the grounds that are going to have to be extended and rerouted, and then also the AC pressure dual switch that also I have to add in. I do have the connector, and then I even ordered one of these. So it's interesting because Wire Specialties has this for an R32, but it looks almost the same. The dimensions are a little off. It seems to be a little bit smaller, but I mean, if it can work, it can work, because I do need one other one of these, and I just, you know, cannot find the original OEM Mk4 harness boot, you know, so they don't have these anymore. And I have not tried to like look at junkyards yet, but before I get to that point, but I'm making a little list, so once I go, then I know exactly what I need to get, because it's not going to be just that. But all right, let's get started with this work for today, guys. So as I'm repeating the same exact process, which is to identify all the wires on this harness and then make sure that they do check out with the wires that I extended from the fuse box, pretty much the same exact thing I did here, I have to do it all over again, because the last time I did it was just for the first couple steps when I had to remove stuff from this part of the harness. There are a couple things that I do always have to double check, and things that are very tricky. For example, there were already some extended wires with different colors that were not the speaker wire that was originally wired in from this part of the harness and extended to the back. So they did do this. For example, this is the EA1, and on this connector, this has, let me get this focused. So on this connector, most of the wires do hook up to the relays that belong here, which are for the EFI main and then the EFI number 2 relay. So these two right here, most of these wires for these two connectors, that's EA1, and then this is EA2. So that's where they're routed to. Now, there is one specific ground on this connector here, which is the EFI main relay. And there are some white and black wires here that make it seem like, okay, it might go into one of those. It's probably a ground, but it's incorrect, because we have the original wire colors there, and we can see that it was extended with some regular wire. And then at that point from here, it was extended with the speaker wire. So that's how they did this. And there's only one specific wire that would ground from that relay, and it doesn't hook up to any of these, because then electrically that wouldn't be correct. So now it does hook up to, let's see, one of the grounds here, which will be right here. So it's just a single ground point. Now I'm double checking just to make sure that all the grounds are checking out and all the wires do check out. So then that way everything has a place, because as soon as something does not have a place, then I have to go back in my notes, and there are some things that I just still didn't even write even for this harness, at least not for this step. It was just for the first couple steps to remove some of the things that I had removed from the harness in the first place. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to double and triple check in this case, because what is the worst that can happen? A fire. Yeah, I don't want that. So let's check. It's been a lot of back and forth work. But now it's getting a little too dark outside, so I'm gonna pull that harness back in and halfway there. So I'm gonna continue it all right here in this area. Probably will save me a little bit of time. Will save me from having to go back and forth, huh? Should have thought about that. I know, I need a bigger table, huh? Well, now that it is all laid out, we can continue. By the way, guys, I got hurt. Look at that boo-boo right there. Look at that. Look at this. It was through the gate. I was closing it and I just like stabbed myself. Look at that. Ouch. But Orlando brought a first aid kit. He could patch me up. Just how I'm patching this harness up. Get it? Guess what I'm making? Because I'm gonna make some pretty good healthy dinner. I mean, usually everything I make is healthy, but guess. I've been eating a lot of carbs lately, so I decided to make something pretty healthy. Low carb, still very high in protein dish. But this is one of my go-to meals to make, especially for late night dinners. But yeah, so this is a very standard chicken scramble, that's what I call it. But it is the filling for some lettuce wraps. And it's very basic: chicken, corn, potato, tomato, chipotle sauce, which is the same leftover sauce that I had from making that pasta the other night. Some jalapeno peppers, and I've been on corn lately, guys, so I also decided to make something with that as just, you know, a little side. Like I said, that's probably not the healthiest part of this meal, but yeah, I like me some lettuce. MJ! Everything is checking out so far, guys, and I haven't caught any mishaps yet. Now, I know some of you guys have been wondering how come I decided to go with solid crimps for the connection rather than soldering, but the manual book really only recommends and only shows you how to repair wires using solid crimps. And they're very specific. It's a very detailed layout of it, and I love that because it even shows you like how it's supposed to look and how the crimp is supposed to look afterwards. But yeah, I don't really have any experience with soldering, same with solid crimping. So if I had to take my chance on something, I was definitely going to go with what the manual book was recommending. And, you know, I did watch, you know, some other videos of people soldering. And in fact, at the shop that I would intern at, they also showed me how to solder. And I did some research. So they're both really good methods to do a really solid connection. But, you know, I was just going to do it the same way that the manual book was going to recommend. I mean, how can I go wrong with that? Really, how can you go wrong with either method? So let me actually show you this wire. They soldered the speaker wire. This was a piece of it connected to this 8-gauge wire that goes directly to the 1B connector, pin 2. So that's how it looks like. I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think? Is that a good job? Is that not? It looks, I mean, it looks decent, you know. I don't know if that's too much solder. I don't know if that's too less. I've seen some where, you know, it's like pretty saturated. So this looks good. This looks decent. But, you know, I wanted to get your guys' thought on this. I think for the most part, almost everything that they did on this harness, any extended wires that they did with that speaker stuff, that's what they used. So they used soldering as their method, and most of it that I checked out just looks like that. So yeah, besides that, everything else is looking good. And the only thing that I really caught that I had to fix was actually my identification for some of the connectors. So the connectors has a very specific pin layout. So it's either numbered, for example, like the IB6, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth till it gets to like the 16th number. So it's either this way or it's like this way, you know, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the manual book also shows you exactly how everything is laid out, and it's very important that while identifying everything and writing everything out and, you know, being very detailed with this kind of work, that everything should go according to the pin that's labeled in the manual book. You know, there is one thing that I found to be so unique about this entire process, and that is those 3 wires right over here, because they merge into one single wire and it runs all the way into this one connector, which is the 1A connector. It is a red and blue striped wire. So those 3 wires, they run into 3 separate relays. But before it even split off into those 3 wires, there was one separate wire that would have ran onto the radiator relay, which I'm not running because I'm deleting that from the harness. So I removed that. And it is the same gauge wire that splits off into 3 of the same gauged wires. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. It's also something that I had to write down in my notes because I cannot label these accordingly. I just labeled in what connector it comes from, but I can't label what relay it's gonna go into until I connect everything all together. And it's not really gonna matter because it all goes into the same wire. That was the only thing that was pretty unique about the entire harness. Now, I do have 3 different labels throughout each wire. So I have one that goes right behind the main wire from the part of the fuse box that'll label that, and then one in the middle where it connects into from the extended wire, and then one that leads into the connectors. Now, as far as the condition of the wires and the connectors of everything that I'm reusing from the harness, there were only 3 wires that were slightly damaged. The jacket was just scuffed, so the wire was actually exposed, and it is something that I'm gonna have to like patch up with some tape and probably add a tube of heat shrink to it. And there was one connector that was slightly cracked. So I was looking at wiring specialties, and I was talking to some people to see if maybe I can get the other connector. And the only thing I'm concerned about with this entire harness is just the EA1 and the EA2 I showed you guys earlier. So I was debating whether maybe I should just get the male terminals and then redo the entire wire, and then that way I could just reuse the same connector, because the connector is fine. But if you see how close they had cut into to extend that wire, I just don't even know if that's gonna hold up properly. And of course I could check that. I will just leave it all for the next couple steps in the vlog. But I'm super excited. Everything is done here and we are done for tonight. So I will catch you guys next time. All right. I got some comments on YouTube. Let's check. I didn't factor that in.